Today, I'm going to get into 12 coin picks that are very specific to where we are today. Today being August 29th. Welcome to Crypto for the Rest of Us, 6 days a week, tip, tool, coin analysis. And then I do another show every day, or I should say episode, just specific to HBAR and ICP. If you're interested in those, watch it. It's daily updates. Excuse me, I've been under the weather a little bit. Okay, today we're going to go over 12 different picks, and I always have to say my disclaimer is informational purposes only. I'm just a big dumb animal. Don't do what I do. If I were to be getting into the market today, which is the end of August, which I believe is before a big run, we'll talk about that, is these are what I would get into if I wanted to. Here was my criteria. I wanted to get into top industries. I wanted to get into coins that seem to be some of the best in those industries. And I also wanted, thirdly, they had to meet the criteria of being back down to where they were back in March and as far back as December. In other words, before this recent run-up. What am I talking about? Well, here is total 3, the entire market, if you will. And you see that back in February timeframe, it took off and it ran up from around 500 billion to almost 800 billion. Okay, so we're looking at things that came back down to these pre-run-up prices, with the assumption being that we will at least make this run-up. So the crypto I'm going to show you are ones that I would consider safe bets, as safe as crypto can be, because they've come back down to that pre-run-up. And if you only got a run-up price, we're going to show crypto that can do a 2 to 10 return if it just makes it back to what it did in March. Personally, I believe it's going to blow past that. But we're in this downward trend, and we have been for a while. If you look at various indicators on this dune, it's got the Bitcoin coming down, the altcoins going up, which essentially means Bitcoin's losing its dominance, and it looks like we're beginning altcoin season. Of course, there's a lot of other things going on in the market, but let's jump right in. First, we're going to talk about the industry, AI. Render. Here's Render today. 5.65. And if you look back, when was the last time? It had a dip a little below that. But if you look back the last time it was around this price range, that's February. And then prior to that, it had popped up. That was December. So with Render Coin, and if you're not familiar, Render provides NVIDIA GPU backend architecture. The company that created it has software that needs to use those graphics cards for rendering. And so they created this network so that if you are using that software, you don't have to have the hardware in-house. You can essentially just send it off to the network, pay for usage, and get it back, saving a lot of upfront costs. Long story short, 5.65. I think it's one of the best in the space when it comes to what I would call AI infrastructure. They're not creating AI apps, they're providing the infrastructure. Okay, so 5.65, and it was up around 13. So that's a 2x. This is also, it doesn't have it here, this is also a pretty high market cap already. So you could 2x in what I believe to be a pretty safe coin. That's the first one in AI. We're going to do 3 in AI. Next is FET, which is the combination, you're probably familiar, of 3 different Oceans, Singularity, and Fetch are coming together to be what's going to be, I believe, ASA, which will change shortly. Here it is at 1.2 today. We go back to February of this year, and it had been much lower than that. But look, back before the run-up, it's back to those levels, 1.2, and it ran up to 3.4. What do we have there? A 3x Fetch, and they are doing many different things since they combined, but they also have front-end AI. And then Aether, which I like a lot because it provides infrastructure, not just for AI, but also for gaming. I'm not big into gaming coins, but when it comes to infrastructure, sure, I'll sell picks and shovels. Just came out, not much to say about them. I just particularly think it's a really good buy. Okay, so that was 3. That was Render at probably a 2x just to get back to March prices. Fetch, a 3x to get back to March prices. Aether, I'm not sure, it doesn't have past experience. All right. Now let's jump into DeFi. Another hot. Ando, 0.66, 0.67. Last time it was around here. That looks like it was April, and then before that, March. So yes, it had a run up, 0.66, it was around 1.4, 1.5. So what's that, a 2.5x? Also a large market cap. They're tokenizing. So in the DeFi space, this is tokenization. They've tokenized, I think, 500 million or more. It may have come down. It fluctuates, of U.S. Treasuries. Brilliant. Okay, the next one, there's three in this DeFi space, is Arrow. Arrow being an exchange on the Base network, which I believe personally is going to take off once Coinbase decides to market it. Came out this year, but you're looking at prices of 0.62, and that's going back to right after it came out, March, whatever, before it ran up. So 0.62, 2.2. All right, what's that? Almost a 4x just to get back to March prices. I believe it's going to take off. I think its market cap, it says 367. I just took a look on CoinMarketCap, fully diluted 800 million. I believe that is significantly undervalued. Third one in the DeFi space, I like this one because GFI, if we look at their fully diluted, it's only 300 million. And they're doing some very interesting things, a different take on loaning money and gaining yield. 2.4, it had been up to 6. What's that, 2.5x? Now, I like this one for the long term because we're talking about, what was it? There's Goldfinch there. It was only 300 million fully diluted market cap at the moment. Oh, I see. The total supply, max supply, is out. Very low. So you've got three. Ando, huge market cap. Tokenization. You've got Arrow, an exchange on Base. It's an exchange. And then you've got lending within DeFi, and it has a very low mark. So we had a high market cap, medium market cap, if you will, and a low market cap. Three in the finance space. All right. This is a space I like. Axelar and W. They're in interoperability, which recently I've gotten into because there are over 120 layer ones. Many of them providing very unique things. Looks like interoperability, moving from chain to chain, might be very important. 0.54. Last it was here was November. This is last year's prices, way before this March run up. 0.54, and you're going to look at 2.6? Wow. If I could do math, I would figure that out. Let's just say it's 5x. I think I can do math. A 5x, almost guaranteed. I could be crazy, but this one to me is a great play for interoperability. Wormhole is the same. It's at 0.21. It hasn't been out quite as long. 1.6, 0.2, that's an 8x. Very interesting. So 2 in interoperability, that could be a 6 to 8x, and that would take them back just to the run-up prices. All right, 4 more. So that got us out, that got us the AI, that got us DeFi, that got us interoperability. Now let's look at 2 of the layer 1s that I think are doing amazing things. You already know I love these, HBAR and ICP. So in terms of this, assuming the market does run up and take off over the next 6 to 12 months, the first group I showed you, I might get totally out of if the returns are great. These 2, HBAR and ICP, because of their market momentum and what they're doing, I don't think, look at HBAR at 5 cents. Personally, and this video may not age well, I don't see them ever coming back to 5 cents. I just see this going on forever and being around for my lifetime. Last time they were down around here was October of 23. You've got last year prices. Now they spiked all the way up here, but that was some bogus news. So let's take this other high of 0.13. So that's almost a 3x. And I think that's a no-brainer. And this is one of my short and long. So the first ones I told you were pretty much just short term. I might sell out of them all. HBAR, and let's talk about ICP, are 2 that I may not sell out of all of it. Again, ICP being $7 blows me away. It had some dips recently where it was down around there or less. But the last time it was there or below was December of last year. You're getting December's prices of an ICP, $7, and it was around, let's just say 20. That's a 3x. Okay, so we've got 2 to, what was this one? There's another one that was about an 8x, 2 to 8x. Almost no-brainers. That's if they just make the last run-up. Now, the other one, too, I'm going to talk about. So those 2, ICP and HBAR, are the ones that I may sell some of. I may keep some for the long term. Let's talk about 2 completely different strategies here. 2 big cap. very high market cap, Chainlink. I think Chainlink's going to be around for a long time. It's already at $6 billion. That's not fully diluted, but $11. It's been as high as 22. I think it's a no-brainer that this is going to 2x. That's pretty safe money. You got 10 grand, you want to buy a used car. You soon might have 20 grand, and you can buy a better used car. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Ethereum, for a very different reason. I know people are going to jump up and down and say Ethereum is slow and it's expensive. Well, I'm a big believer that first mover advantage matters. Not only that, but because of the ecosystem and all the developers. But most importantly, for me, I'm trying to unbank myself. That's a whole different discussion. And to do that, I'm staking and using as collateral Ethereum because so far it's the best collateral with the highest LTV. It's at 2,500. It had been recently around 4,000. I mean, that's not a 2x, but it's a decent rise. And as long as it's going up and to the right, since it's my cornerstone, if you will, of my debanking structure, as long as it goes up and to the right, I'm happy. These prices weren't here. It was February, right before the run-up, that we had this $2,500 price. So, 1.5x, 2x, but if you're trying to unbank yourself, that's Ethereum. Okay, so let's just recap. We talked about 3 in the AI space. Render, Fetch, which is going to change, but at the moment it's FET, and Aether. Then we talked about 3 in the DeFi space. Tokenization, and exchange, and lending. That would be Ando, Arrow, and GFI, respectively. And then we talked about 2 in interoperability, Axelar, and Wormhole. And then layer 1s that I think are doing great things, part of my short and long-term strategy, HBAR and ICP. And then some of the large, and there's many like this that have pre-run-up prices recently, but I happen to like Chainlink as an incredibly safe, but probably not a huge return, at least in the short term. So if I were just getting in right now, or I were dollar cost averaging, which I am, that's why I'm going over all of these, and that's because I have been buying some of these in the last couple weeks. That's it for today. If you're just getting in, take these as a suggestion. Maybe these aren't the ones you want, but I think it's a good idea to look at hot industries, top crypto within those industries that are doing things already, and also those that are pre-March run-up prices. If you can find that, it seems to be a decent trifecta. Have a great day, and I hope we can all make generational wealth together with crypto.